up, everybody? Welcome into the Empower America show. Boys, we're talking about a recession. Is it coming?
Oh, it's coming. The sky is falling.
Every day. Watch out. Don't go out of your house. Get in if you got a basement, get inside quick. Quick. Right now. Because you never know what's going to happen. Listen, I think we talk about this. There's a lot of doomsdayers out there, aren't there?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you what they're good at. They know how to make money off of negative news.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean there's a lot of bad things going on, because there are a lot of crazy things going on right now. But I love, we talked about this off air. I got to share it on air because I think it's great. Zig Ziglar, I'm a big fan of Zig.
Yeah.
Not Zag, but Zig. And he says, the media has accurately predicted 27 of the last 3 recessions. So I don't know if you've realized this yet. I know you guys are big believers in media. You believe everything they say. Everything they say. It's always accurate.
Right.
Especially since the Huckleberry Act was kind of ratified and passed by Obama years ago. Shh, don't tell anybody. But it allows the media to say whatever they want to say, and there's no recourse. What?
Yep. Well, I just learned that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
That was like back in 2012. But at the end of the day,
thank you, Obama.
He's a little late to the party. But he's here. That's the good news. He's here. So what should you do if a recession is coming? That's what we're going to talk about on this show. We're going to talk about the idea of how can you prepare? What are some things you can do? And how do you find opportunity? I think, guys, when we look at a recession, I think a lot of questions are asked. Kevin, like, is there going to be a recession coming? And if it does, what should I do? What are some of the signs showing? What's your gut reaction? I'll give you my thoughts, being in the financial game for 20 plus years, which will probably be different than your reaction potentially. But I mean, in all reality, how are you feeling when it looks at this? You guys are kind of consumers just living in the world. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I've been hearing this over the last 20 years. People talking about it's going to be a recession. I haven't really felt it. I mean, I guess I'm immune to it because I'm not living in this matrix where MSNBC or CNN determines my success in life. I'm just going out working hard and making good decisions.
Because there's always opportunity. But didn't they change the of what a recession is?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And Chief did show up to the party.
Yeah, he did. Come on. Hey, everybody clap for there we go.
He's here today.
He showed up, baby. No, it is true. They did move the goalposts a little bit to kind of allow you to think like, hey, you know what? Yeah, just because you're paying 5 times more for gas and eggs and everything else, that's not really inflation. That's just you not understanding that costs go up. It makes sense that it went up 5 times in 2 years.
You should start writing Biden speeches. But that's not inflation. That's just costs going up.
Costs going up, boys. It's a natural reaction to the government spending money in places that don't need to be spent. So that way it just costs go up. Let's stay there. Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole recession thing, it's like the job reports just came out and they were great.
Yeah, well, I mean, remember.
that's how it was reported.
Yeah, but remember, though, at the end of the day, when they took think about this for a minute, okay? So when you take a look at where the data comes from, number one, and I'll ask you this question as you're watching this out there, America. Do you believe in the information that your government shares to you?
Yeah.
That's question one. I mean, we looked at the CDC and all the stuff from there. I'm not even going to get into that rabbit hole. but at the end of the day, it's like, this is good for you. That's not good for you. We apologize. This is not good for you. This is now good for you. It's like, what is it? I mean, it's like even physicians, they're practicing. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Well, it means they're practicing. So when you think about the fact that these job numbers came out, right? I think the first thing that you have to ask yourself is too many people look at news on social media. You might be watching a clip like this on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, TikTok, and you're in a place where you're saying, okay, hey, this is what's happening. That's like walking into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And seeing like a minute and a half of it and be like, that movie sucks. And you walk out. It's not a good read of actually what's going on. So when you look at the job numbers, I think, Keith, you got to be thinking about, like, where are the jobs? What are the jobs? Are these part-time jobs? Are these full-time jobs? Are these government jobs?
Probably a lot of pharmaceutical jobs.
Pharmaceutical jobs. You know, there was like, what was it? Somebody, Russell Brand or whatever his name is, said through the whole COVID thing, there was like 30 new billionaires or something like that. So, you know, drug companies making $1,000 a second.
That is insane.
It's crazy. So when you think about this, where are these jobs coming from? And what are the jobs? That's the first question that you have to ask. And I think a lot of the jobs, when you look at those numbers, it actually includes some part-time. It includes governmental jobs and all of these things. And the government at any stage of the game, as it continues to metastasize across the country like a big cancer, they're adding more jobs.
Yeah.
And that's considered good for the overall economy. But I think people out there, guys, in America, the real America, understand that, you know what, the cost of things are up. Jobs have moved overseas. There's real things that are happening. And so when you look at the overall recession, in my opinion, you know, people are feeling the ebbs and flows in their bank accounts. They're feeling the ebbs and flows in the stock market. And also they're looking at the reality of, which is why we're going to talk about later in just a minute, what can you do to kind of protect yourself and prepare? But they're looking at their investments. You know, you remember back in the early teens, there was a lot of quantitative easing.
Right.
You know what that is, right? The Fed's printing money, and then they're buying treasuries. There's going to be more bonds and things that are going to be pumped into the markets.
Yeah. Lowering interest rates.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I think interest rates are going to stay put for a little while.
I think so too. I see a lot of people talking about they're going to reverse course. I'm like, nah.
That ain't going to happen.
Inflation was a
soon.
huge problem. It's still a huge problem. There's no way in hell they're going to drop those interest rates.
No, and again, it goes back.
And I'm a dummy, and I know that.
So if you're a dummy out there, there's hope for you. But I mean, seriously, you know, you can't. Inflation, I don't care what anybody says, is created by the government.
Right. Yeah.
They're the one that determines, and the Fed, in a lot of ways, determines fiscal policy, printing of money, which devalues things.
Right.
You know, it's just the way it is. The more there is, it's like, that's why, you know, these one of ones. Like if you got a pair of Air Jordans, you ever watch that movie, by the way, Jordan or Air or whatever it is, really good movie talking about Jordan. Little side note, I like that. But if you're in a place where you got a one of one Jordans, right, and it's signed by him, and you got a picture of him, you got authenticated. I can't say it, man.
Yo, you got it.
Hooked on Phonics did not work for me.
Authenticated.
Yeah, but if you got a one of one, guess what's going to happen to the value of that? It's going to go way up.
Way up.
But if there's tons of them in the country, it's not that valuable.
It's not that valuable.
So let's keep it simple for the folks in the back. At the end of the day, the more dollars that are out there, the less your dollars are worth.
Right.
So
it's surprising how many people don't know that.
They don't know that.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. It's not that complicated. And so when you take a look at quantitative easing over the years, from the teen years, the government printing money, when you take a look at all of these things, you know, when you take a look at the costs of goods and services, when you take a look at the fact that all this stuff's happened, I think we're there. But there is hope.
Yeah, quantitative easing is a euphemism for you're getting screwed.
Yeah. How about we print more money, put it into the system, and cause you to be able to have less buying power?
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
Think about what you could have bought with $100 10 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you about my story about my Uncle Bud. He could buy a loaf of bread for 3 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's 150 years old, too.
Yeah. Now that same loaf of bread is...
What, $5?
Yeah, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it depends on whether you get the fresh. I like the fresh bit.
Yeah, me too.
Go to the bakery. I'm pressing that bad boy. Is this soft? How's it feeling? Ooh, that's a little too hard for me. I like a nice soft push. You know what I'm saying? Get that fresh bread.
Can't be fresh bread.
It's got to be fresh. So what can you do? Guys, what are you thinking? You give some thoughts here, and I'll give some of mine. What can people be doing to protect themselves from the recession to come?
Buy a lot of guns and bullets.
Ammo.
Buy some body armor.
Yeah, buy some body armor.
Yeah, you just got to pay attention. What field do you work in? How's it going to hurt you and your family? You just got to keep your eyes open and plan ahead and be strategic.
But don't forget the bullets. That's your backup plan.
That's your backup plan. Nothing wrong with having some bullets.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Keith. I mean, it's the idea of saying, maybe now's the first time in your life where you actually got serious
Yeah.
with yourself, your own personal situation. We talk a lot on this show about the matrix, people being in or out of the matrix. And at the end of the day, I think maybe, hopefully, all the noise that's going on with the country, is challenging people to say, let me wake up maybe for the first time in my life and get serious about learning things, knowing things, being a part of what I'm doing. Maybe you're going to step out and start a business. Mm-hmm. I remember in 2008 when the markets crashed, y'all know the name Lawn Doctor?
I remember that. Lawn Doctor.
Company that goes out there and sprays for weeds and all this stuff. Well, they blew up in a good way in 08. Why? Because a lot of tradespeople, people that were working in the trades, they lost their jobs. And so what they did is it was a low cost to entry to start your own Lawn Doctor kind of franchise.
Oh, okay.
So they started their franchise and they started going knocking on doors and, building their own business. There's always opportunity out there.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
And I think that's the key is you got to, through a recessionary period, those that grow through it, because even Conrad Hilton, I don't know if you know this or not, he bought the Waldorf Astoria back in the Great Depression.
Oh, wow.
Because he bought it at pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And Trump talks about that, by the way, too. Listen, you can make a lot of money in good economies, but you can make significant money in bad economies.
Yeah. I mean, we speak from experience when the whole COVID thing happened. Everybody's out of work, and we had just started our one of our YouTube channel, Conservative Twins, and it really blew up because
everybody's at home.
Everybody's at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and the world was crazy. It was riots. It was rioting all over the place, and so it was a great opportunity for us, but it was a horrible opportunity for other people.
Yeah.
So it's always an opportunity out there.
So what you're saying is you're taking advantage of people.
Yeah. In a good way.
Yeah. No, I mean,
getting the word out.
Yeah.
It's a great point though, because you're saying here's an opportunity. You're not so sucked into the media with fear and worry and all this stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Right.
You're like, hey, here's an opportunity. Let's act on it now. Let's go after this.
And I didn't even notice the opportunity. It just didn't affect me. And I noticed, I was like, wow, people are really out of work. People couldn't go to work. We wasn't having those constraints. We could easily go in and out of our office and do what we was doing. Nobody's telling us we couldn't work, but it affected a lot of business, small businesses.
Well, it's all about action. A lot of people are in a place where there's information on a sheet of paper and they move it around, shift them around, read some stuff, and they feel like they're smart.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
But knowledge isn't power. It's the application of knowledge.
Right.
Execution.
And so you gotta start executing. I don't mean your neighbors. I'm talking about ideas, right? Start saying, you know what? I've always wanted to do X, Y, or Z, or I believe like one of the things that you're seeing now with this big shift in culture is you're starting to see, they call it the red state economy, whatever it is, more conservative. People are paying attention where they're buying things.
Right.
And so part of this mission of
Bud Light found out about that
real quick.
Target too.
Yeah, and by the way, what's Yingling doing? They're saying, hey, we're coming out with a light beer. We got a light beer already. Great opportunity to start capitalizing. Oldest beer in the country, in America. Let's capitalize on that. Somebody's going to take that place.
Right.
So there's always opportunity out there, and I think you got to sit back. You hear me talk a lot about white sheet of paper. Get that white sheet of paper out, sit down and say, what do you want to do? Where can you start adding value? Where can you help people? Mm-hmm. And that's the key. And I'll kind of land the train with this thought. I love what Zig says. He says, if you help enough other people in life get what they want, you will get what you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's about empowering others.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's about empowering others.
And just to touch on what you said about, what is it, the Waldorf Astoria?
Waldorf Astoria in New York City.
Yeah, he bought it pennies on the dollar. Like right now, this is not advice. I'm not telling y'all what to do, but Bitcoin is low right now, and we invested in Bitcoin stocks.
Yeah.
The mining companies.
Yeah.
Because when Bitcoin goes up, them stocks are taking off.
Yeah, and they're like 80, 90% down from the all-time high.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Always buy low, pennies on the dollar.
Buy low, buy low, buy low, sell high. Don't get greedy. And diversify.
And diversify.
Find the right people that are going to help you. And by the way, get the knowledge. That way you're not just saying, well, let me download the Coinbase app and I'm going to throw a bunch of money into this. This one looks real good. Don't do that, right? Get some basic knowledge around things. That's why we got some great resources for you guys at Empower America. And guys, as always, second to last word, what do you got to say?
Hey, empower yourself.
Empower yourself.
Learn something every day. Take every opportunity to learn something. Take advantage of your what you got going. If you got 10 minutes of free time, you can always empower yourself and learn new things about finances, stocks.
Yeah, the best opportunities when there's blood in the streets, when things are bad.
Yeah,
that's when the opportunities are actually out there.
Yeah, they are, because a lot of people are fearful.
Yeah.
And so you got to act in those times. So listen, even if we have a significant recession coming up, I'm going to challenge you to really right now prepare for it. Get your spending in order. Don't go buying stuff that you don't need right now, right? But also be in a place where you're thinking about, how can I do things that can add value to people? Mm-hmm. And I can also make money on it.
Right.
That's important. Nothing wrong with the double-edged sword of both of what I just said there. So listen, hey, have a blessed day. Stay empowered. Next time. Boom. The years are coming out today, baby. See you soon.